I think a key part is how we manage stakeholders, and the way we approach relationships can be a little bit different. I think there would be commonality if I said there is a lot of chest pumping project managers in SA and maybe there needs to be a little bit of that ego in that role. But there are clients on the developer side. I'm sure there's clients in council that might prefer an approach that is a little bit different, where it is a little bit more collaborative, where they felt that they're being heard a little bit more. And not to say that men don't do that, but I think there is an ability for women to do it differently.
Welcome to Series 2 of ConstructHER podcast, a Master Builders South Australian initiative which celebrates women in the building and construction industry. My name is Holly Gardner. I'm Chair of the Women in Building High Vis Committee, and I'm looking forward to introducing you to a wonderful array of women who are doing fantastic things in the building and construction industry.
The female-led business register is going to open up opportunities to attract more women in the industry.
There's other support and mentoring opportunities for them.
I just have something different to bring to the table.
When I have been on site with mothers or elderly women, they felt more comfortable knowing that I was there.
It will connect lots of different women involved in all aspects of building.
So today we have Anna Roussos, founder and director of ROUSSOS Recruitment, here today to share her wonderful, amazing story of her experiences in the construction industry. Thank you, Anna, for being with us today.
No, it's so good to be here, and I'm excited to have this conversation because in the next couple of weeks we've got International Women's Day, so it's perfect timing.
Fantastic. So Anna, please share with us how you got into the construction industry.
Yes, well, I have been in the world of recruitment now for over 22 years. So I started when I was 20 in the UK. So I went over into England, down in Devon, and I needed to get a job. And I had to go to a recruitment agency, and they said, would you be interested in doing a traineeship with us? And it happened to be in trades and labour. So new country, new job. Within 2 weeks, I was out finding construction sites, needing to find site managers, walking around with my rate card, trying to go, right, what trades do you need? Do you need a sparky? Do you need a chippy? It was terrifying. And not only that, I needed to drive a manual car, which I couldn't do through all the hedging. But it was a great introduction to the world of recruitment, but also construction. And I absolutely loved it because, you know, I got to get connected with the people who are actually doing the actual work and all the colourful characters that comes with working in construction.
Fantastic. So that was at residential or commercial construction?
It was predominantly commercial that we went out to see. But, you know, we did a little bit of recruitment also within that medium density space. Obviously, the housing market's a little bit different to here. But no, it was fantastic. It was hard because I remember, you know, obviously being quite young, there wasn't any females out on site at all. So I was terrified, and you would have everyone looking at you as you're walking through trying to find the site manager. But I worked out quite quickly that as long as I had a box of jam donuts, I was good, because then everyone was really helpful and they were like, come on, my love, I'll take you to the site manager. And it was great. And I really loved it.
Fantastic. So can you share a special project that you've undertaken that's been of importance to you?
There's quite a few. I think the biggest one for me, I have to bring it back to setting up ROUSSOS Recruitment. Next year will be our 8th year in business.
Fantastic.
When I started ROUSSOS Recruitment in 2017, I never actually imagined it to, you know, I did. I said to my husband, it'll be me, just doing my thing, a bit of construction with my key clients. And before I knew it, the team started to grow, and I've loved it. And I think the key reason why I love what I do is I have a genuine interest in helping people, and I love supporting them. I love seeing them thrive in what they do, and I love our industry. So there's been some professionals that over the last 20 years I've supported 3 times when they've made their career moves. And it's not about them changing jobs. It's about looking at opportunities that's going to enhance them and also give them more fulfillment in what they do. So I've loved that. I've loved growing the business. And the other key thing is, by having my own organisation, I've also really enjoyed being able to impact community. And there's a few different ways. There's different charities that we support now. And obviously I'm on the board of the Jodi Lee Foundation. But over the last 8 years, we've helped raise over $300,000 for the Jodi Lee Foundation, who are a great foundation raising awareness for bowel cancer. I invest heavily in the different associations like Master Builders, Property Council, really trying to give back to the industry that I love. And part of that was for me setting up, Leading Large last year, my own podcast series, because what I saw was a real need for young talent. This Gen Z really want to be developed further and they want more exposure. And so having leaders from our industry, whether it's construction, property, engineering and architecture, people have been listening to them and getting some really good tips on how to advance their careers. So there's just too many. I just love it too much. It's been brilliant.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thanks, Anna. And so what obstacles do you think there are for women in the construction industry?
Well, I remember when I first started, when I came back to Adelaide, so still, I think, I would have been like 22, spring chicken. And I said to my manager at the time that I wanted to be a construction recruiter. I had exposure to labour hire back in the UK, loved it. And the feedback I got was, oh no, Anna, you're way too polished for construction recruitment. And I was really disappointed. Like my dad, was a residential builder. He migrated from Poland. So, the Polish think they can build anything. And so I really wanted to get onto that construction desk. And I had to wait really quite patiently until someone eventually decided to move interstate. And then I put my hand up again and I said, I really want to go into construction recruitment. And that was mainly to do with the white collar style roles. So site managers, project managers, CAs, etc. And there was still pushback. And now I look back, I really just can't understand it, because I was actually, decent at what I did and I built really strong relationships. So that was the first hurdle, was actually going, well, can there be a female recruiter in construction? Once I finally got into that space, I found it really difficult to be taken seriously by the industry. And it was very male dominant. A lot of the managers in the industries are men. And I guess, I always felt like they were happy to have coffee with me because I was nice to have a conversation with, but I never really got their business. And I was like, you know what? I work really hard. I know that recruitment can be seen as transactional, but I've got really good values. I've been brought up with, you treat people with a lot of respect and you're always honest. And I was determined to make a real impact in the industry that I loved. And there was a change of mindset for me. And I thought, well, I need to be able to demonstrate to them that I can provide value. And what that meant is that I needed to immerse myself more into the industry. And I wanted to be that person that they had to call and go, I need your help. I can't find the right talent, or I don't know how we should grow our business and what should we do when it comes to, our employer branding. And so it wasn't just learning about each and every organisation in South Australia, but the industry as a whole, in the sense of how do client-side PMs interact with the architects and how does the builder work with the architect. And then once I, really invested in that learning, that's when everything for me in my career started to actually amplify. And that probably started in my early 30s, so 10 years after I started my recruitment career. And now it has changed, but it took me to go, I want to be more than just seen as a recruitment expert. And I also wanted to be seen as that I am part of the construction, property, engineering, architect industry, not so much just recruitment. So there has been a lot of challenges for women coming into the industry, not just breaking in, but then how do they progress their career through this industry? I have seen so much positive change though, and that's where I kind of go, if I look at where we were 20 years ago, I'm really grateful for the positive changes that I have seen. I know a lot of young ladies go, it's not enough, we want more. But there has been a lot of adaptation across the industry. Maybe it never had to be, but I think this also comes back to, if you think about it, 15, 20 years ago, I don't think our parents were saying to our kids, hey, to the young ladies coming through school, have you thought about doing construction? So it's not just the organisations and employers, it's had to be a real change of mindset for this generation's parents as well.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
But it's all going in the right direction. And the amount of employers that are saying, hey, Anna, do you have more female PMs? you know what, it's always about who's best for the role, but they always say, we would love another female PM. We would love
Project
another contract.
manager.
Yeah, another contract administrator.
Yeah.
You know, do you have any great graduates coming through the industry?
That's good to hear.
So much of it. And a lot of HR professionals are really looking at the balance across their business because, you know, not to say that we do things better, but, you know, we can offer a different flair about our approach when it comes to business and how perhaps they deliver projects across the state.
So, yeah, just in saying that, talking about the highlights, and you're sort of talking about that we do have some flair. Let's dig down with that. What do you mean by that? What are women good at?
Yeah.
And that sort of leads me on to the question of highlights. But I think we'll take it from you talk about women obviously being popular as project managers and contract administrators. Do you see that's where women's sort of flair is, their talent is?
I think a key part is how we manage stakeholders, and the way we approach relationships can be a little bit different. I think there'd be commonality if I said there is a lot of chest pumping project managers in SA and maybe there needs to be a little bit of that ego in that role. But there are clients on the developer side. I'm sure there's clients within in council that might prefer an approach that is a little bit different, where it is a little bit more collaborative, where they felt that they're being heard a little bit more. And not to say that men don't do that, but I think there is an ability for women to do it differently. And to just look at every opportunity is there's different ways to, skin a cat? Is that a saying? It's not even
That's correct.
I'm pretty good at making up sayings. The other key thing is in SA, we have full stop a lack of leadership. Whether it's male or female, there is a lack of leadership in our state, and there are leaders, but I would question the quality of that leadership style and how much are our leaders investing in their leadership styles. I know for me, in the last 8 years running my business, I'm constantly looking at, am I leading the people the right way? What can I be doing differently? I'm learning so much from my mistakes as well. But I think women, not to say they do it better, but women can lead differently to men. And sometimes you've got to look at your workforce or the teams that you have around you and go, well, who's going to bring the best out of them? And what type of leadership style do they actually need to make sure that we're playing to that individual's strengths and supporting them through their weaknesses? So, yeah, a couple of things. It's how we communicate, I reckon.
Okay, that's a great point, Anna. So what changes do you think would benefit the construction industry?
We need more women in leadership roles. And it's difficult because there's a shortage of female talent in that industry. So it really does start all the way from school level, and then we've got to try and support our women as they progress through their careers. And so they've got the ability and the confidence to move into leadership roles. But you know, it's difficult because, you know, obviously, you know, there's a lot of ladies that have babies at the same time. So how do you manage the juggle, which is so real and it's really difficult. Like, I know I've worked predominantly full-time throughout my entire career. It's a choice that I've made, and I own the sacrifices I've had to make, and I've got 2 beautiful boys who are doing really well. But I caught up with a young lady only 2-3 weeks ago, and she's now in a site engineer role, so recently graduated, and she just said, I just wanted to chat to you because I'm really struggling to find a female mentor who is in project management. There is no female project managers in our business, and I don't know how I'm ever going to be a PM because the male project managers can't really talk to me about, well, how do I manage my career when I need 12 months off to have a baby? Or then I come back and re-enter the workforce. What is my role going to look like, and what are the challenges I'm going to face? So we're having a lot more conversations at the tables and with different events that are going around. But I think there's more, like we need more events where there are further female leaders in the room, just having real conversations around how hard it is hard. And young professionals need to realize that I don't agree that you should just be given a leadership role. You do need to earn it, and there will be sacrifices that you need to make along the way. But I encourage employers, if you feel that you have someone in your business that demonstrate leadership qualities, invest in them. And, you know, if you've got one in your business that can help their development, get external support. Because, you know, what I'm finding is that not all, but there's a lot of the younger generation, they are struggling with time management. They are struggling with resilience. They're coping, if they are young mums, that, both their partner and them are having to work. So there's so many more juggles they're having to face, perhaps because of, obviously cost of living and everything that's gone up to where we were 15 years ago. So there's new obstacles they're facing, whilst perhaps beforehand, yes, we had barrier points of actually being considered for leadership roles. Now we're finding that women haven't got the ability. There might be roles there, but they can't seem to get there because they're just doing too many things and can't zone in on what their superpowers are. So I hope I've answered that question right.
No, that's a really good point. And with the High Vis Committee, which I'm the chair of, as you know, we are actually all about collaborating with our male counterparts and working with our male hosts as well, who look after our female apprentices, on how we can encourage women to stay in the construction industry and also progress as leaders in the construction industry. Yeah, I'm a big believer on a conversation with our male counterparts on this. And on this level. And my point being is that on our High Vis Committee, we've got 2 men on our committee to have those conversations on how our male counterparts can understand what the challenges are for women in the industry, having children and wanting to progress. Because I do believe this is very much a collaborative effort. It's not just women fighting on their own, it's women working together with our male counterparts and trying to achieve goals that's for the benefit of the construction industry and men and women collectively.
I completely agree. And we're in an environment at the moment, there is a significant talent shortage. Never in my career, in the last 2-3 years, our business has registered 60% more roles year on year. And yet the talent has not increased. The talent is actually getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We have so many amazing mature aged individuals in our industry that are looking at and very near retirement. And so if we don't start to act now, we're going to be in real trouble in a handful of years, because not only are we not going to have, one, we're trying to get more women in the industry, but I just look at it and go, my fear is also that whether it's male or female, we're not going to have enough people ready to step up into leadership roles in 5 years' time, because a lot of people don't want that role either. They don't want the responsibility or the accountability that comes with those roles, or the people management side. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes in the next few years that does start to worry me a little bit.
Very interesting point. So in saying that, what would you say to any female wanting to look to advance themselves or enter the industry?
I very much believe you need to try and understand what your superpower is, and you need to nurture that superpower as much as you can, because one, it will make you stand out, and traditionally your superpower is also linked to what you're passionate about. And if you're passionate about something and you're really good at something, you start to feel really fulfilled as an individual, which then breeds confidence and really good momentum and energy. So by them understanding their superpower, then it's actually talking to their managers and going, well, how can we utilize this within their business? The other thing is people really understanding what success really means like for them. Because success for someone doesn't always mean I need to be a people manager. That's a really, really, really hard job. And yes, it's sometimes good to be the key manager of the business, but that doesn't always make everyone really happy. And I think a lot of people strive to that, but yet it probably doesn't play within their superpowers. Not everyone's really good at people management. And then they go into those roles and they're really stressed out. And by the time they hit 40, they're really unfulfilled in their careers, and then they want to go part-time or they exit the industry as a whole. So understanding your superpower, really understanding what success truly means to you, and think about what does that mean in 5 to 10 years. And I know a lot of people go, you'll be right, why 5-10 years? But if having children is on the horizon, you've got to plan it. You've got to sit down with your husband and actually talk through, not when you're going to conceive and all that, but how would this impact my career? And have the confidence, and this is another thing, is having the confidence to speak to your employer and say, look, I am thinking in a few years' time, I'm going to have babies, and I really need to know what are the key areas I should focus on with my development, so I can go away and come back, but not feel like I've gone back in my career, but I'm at a platform that I can come back and then go again. And I just don't think people do enough planning in what they're doing. In my own career, I came back with both my children after 4 months. And the first time I did that out of fear that I was going to lose my senior manager title. Now that's ridiculous. I shouldn't have come back out of fear, but I was so worried that if I didn't come back, all the development that I'd done, that role would have been taken away from me. And no one should feel like that in their careers. So knowing what success is, planning it out, sitting with your manager. And I also say to employers, if you've got someone that's really good in your business, you need to support them through it. It's not a weakness that you're going to go and have babies. Because in the end, if you've got a loyal employee, you should do everything to hang on to them. So superpower, make sure you're passionate, and then know what success looks like.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Anna. It's been fantastic listening to you today and just learning a bit more about you and getting some wonderful tips. So thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to make a comment, please make a comment right here on Spotify. Alternatively, if you require further information, please go to our website. The details are below.